Hello guys, in this lecture we are going to learn about the resistivity contributions, which is known as Matheson's rule, and also we are going to see the effect of temperature, defects and composition on resistivity. Let's start with the resistivity contributions, which is known as Matheson's rule. When conduction electron moves under the influence of an electric field, then it will collide, electrons will collide with some obstacle like vibrating atoms, impurity atoms, defects in the lattice, scatter, and then start to drift in the field direction until it scatters again, and so on. The representation of classical electron drift velocity with the time in metal, which is shown in this figure with the graph time versus electron drift velocity. Just before the scattering, the electron velocity reaches a maximum value, only to reduce after the scattering to a minimum value because the electron trajectory reverses. That's why you can observe here with the graph, it is going to increase electron velocity, drift velocity going to increase with the time. Again, after the collision, it is going to down. Again, it increases. Again, it is going to down. Like that, the velocity is increasing, and after the collision, it is going to zero. So this graph represents the classical electron drift velocity with the time in metals. The average time between collision varies statically. So suppose this is a collision time total, that is nothing but 2 times of relaxation time. So collision is happening at this instant, then the velocity is going to increase. Then at the collision again, it is the velocity going to zero. So that span from one collision to next collision, that span is nothing but a collision time, and collision time can be statically defined as the 2 times of relaxation time. Halfway between the velocity extremes is defined average drift velocity Vd. In metals, the electrons scatter where there are disruptions in the periodic lattice potential. Thus, chance, chance encounters with impurity atoms, point defects, vacancies or interest initials, line defects, and surface defects, which would be result in scattering. It has been observed that the average distance, that is mean free path, between the scattering of each type of scatter, there would be an average value of mean free path for impurities that are indicated with the lambda I. Lambda is nothing but the mean free path, and average value of mean free path for impurities is indicated with lambda I, that differ from the lambda v for vacancies, means mean free path for vacancies, that is indicated with the lambda v, or lambda b for grain boundaries, and so on. When we have a number of freely occurring scattering events, then the average overall mean free path in the system is governed by the mechanism with the smallest lambda, that is mean free path, is nothing but lambda raised to minus 1 is equal to lambda t raised to minus 1 lambda plus lambda I raised to minus 1 plus lambda d raised to minus 1, where lambda d is the collective mean free path for defect scattering. Lambda I, this is average value of mean free path for impurities, and this is nothing but lambda t is nothing but average overall mean free path for thermal or temperature, and this is nothing but overall mean free path. Since the electrical conductivity is proportional to mean free path and the resistivity, mean free path and resistivity to lambda raised to minus 1. So with respect to this mean free path, we can write this equation in terms of resistivity as total resistivity is equals to total resistivity corresponds to overall mean free path, and this rho t, that is resistivity for thermal, rho I resistivity for impurity, and rho d, that is resistivity for defect, which are these three quantities are corresponds to the mean free path for thermal, impurity and defect. So this equation is the statement of Matheson's rule and indicates the various contribution to the resistivity of material, and also are independently additive. And rho t, that is resistivity for thermal, is contribution which varies with temperature. This figure shows the additive nature of Matheson's rule at a given temperature. So you can observe here, as the temperature going to increase, the resistivity of the material also going to increase, and this total resistivity of that material is nothing but the additive impurity, resistivity due to impurity, resistivity due to defect, and resistivity due to thermal. This resistivity due to impurity and a defect remain constant, which is nothing but the initial resistivity. And as the temperature going to increase, this resistivity due to the thermal or due to the temperature is going to change. Let's see the effect of temperature, composition, and defects on resistivity. Unlike all other materials, metals become more resistive as the temperature is raised. The linear slope of resistivity versus temperature is essentially related to the temperature coefficient of resistivity, that showing with the alpha, an important material property, and that equation that can be defined by the equation as rho 2 is equals to rho 1 into bracket 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1, where alpha is the coefficient of resistivity. As in the last point, we seen it is only the thermal part of the resistivity which depends on the temperature. We postulate that thermal energy causes lattice atoms to oscillate about their equilibrium positions, thus causing the incoherent scattering of the electron waves. Rho t is called as ideal resistivity. Now, what is the residual resistivity? The residual resistivity is nothing but the rho r is equal to rho I plus rho D. Rho I is nothing but the resistivity due to the impurities, and resistivity rho D is nothing but the resistivity due to defects. So this is called as residual resistivity, which is interpreted to be due to imperfection in the crystal such as impurities, vacancies, grain boundaries, or dislocations. The residual resistivity is essentially not temperature dependent. In this graph also you can observe here, this part is not changing with respect to temperature, only changing the rho T. So this is unaffected by the temperature. So it remains same, that's why it is called as residue. Normally, from this equation, you can observe here, the rho 1 is taken as the resistivity at temperature T1 is equal to 20 degrees Celsius, and T2 minus T1 is the difference relative to 20 degrees Celsius. At elevated temperature alpha is constant, whereas at cryogenic temperatures, the resistivity is non-linear and varies at 10⁵. For pure metals, the following equations can be read as: in the high temperature range, it can be defined with the conductivity is equal to capital A upon T, and resistivity can be defined as A into capital T. In the low temperature range, it can be defined with the conductivity is equal to B upon T raised to 5, and the resistivity can be defined with B into T raised to 5, where capital A, capital B, and also small a and small b are the proportionality constants. In the plot of dependence of the specific resistance of pure metals on the temperature for high temperature ranges, this dependence is represented by a straight line. In the low temperature range, by the it is represented by a parabolic shape of fifth degree and in the vicinity of absolute zero by a straight line parallel to the temperature. This table shows the resistivity at 20 degrees Celsius and the temperature coefficients of the resistivity with the different values, like for example aluminum, which is also called as anilide, and it is having a resistivity of 28.3 at 20 degrees Celsius with 28.3 into 10 raised to minus 9 ohm meter, and the temperature coefficient is nothing but 0.039, and copper also having a less resistivity as compared to aluminum. So that's why if you are concerning with the electrical applications, the aluminum and copper having a less resistivity. So far as these materials, aluminum and copper, mostly preferred for electrical applications in the field of power system as a electrical conductors. A more rigorous quantum mechanical calculation enables the coefficient that we shown above, that is capital A, capital B, small a and small b. The almost unchallenged use of copper and aluminum for common electrical wiring applications. It is due to the low resistivity. For electrical heating applications, however, high resistivity are essential. For example, you can see about the steel wire and as well as nichrome, nickel, and tungsten that having a high resistivity. High resistivity means high temperature, because resistance and the resistivity both are related to each other, which we seen in the last lectures. So we can say that more resistivity means more resistance, and the more resistance gives very high temperatures, dissipating the very high temperature. So nickel, nichrome, tungsten, invar, these materials are used for the heating applications. The number of impurities atoms is generally constant in a given metal or alloy. The number of grain boundaries, however, can be changed by the various heat treatments. For example, if a metal is annealed at a temperature close to its melting point and then rapidly quenching into water at room temperature, its room temperature resistivity increases noticeably due to the quenched in vacancies. Likewise, recrystallization, grain growth, and many other metallurgical processes change the resistivity of the metal. Alloying, alloying element invariably raise the resistivity of the metal to which they are added. Alloying is the process to increase the resistivity of the material. These are different from behavior of the semiconductor and the insulators, which become better conductors when alloyed. This figure shows here. This figure shows the resistivity versus temperature curve of copper. When it is alloyed with the nickel, then the resistivity increases. In alloying has its origin in several mechanisms. First, atoms of different size causes a variation in the lattice parameters and thus electron scattering. Second, atoms having a different valences introduce a local charge difference which also increases the scattering probability. And third, the solutes which have a different electron concentration compared to host element alter the position of Fermi energy. So from this figure you can conclude that as alloying as alloying on the metal, then the resistivity of the that alloys or metals going to increase. So for the pure copper, the resistivity is less. If you are alloying with the nickel with copper 1 at few percentage of nickel, copper 2 with few percentage of nickel, as the alloying process is going to do, then the resistivity of that metal or the alloy is going to also increase. Various solute elements alter the resistivity of the host material to different degrees. This figure shows both the figures shows the number of additional electrons the solute contributes clearly plays a vital role in the resistance increase. In this diagram, you can observe that as percentage of solute going to increase, then the resistivity of change in the resistivity of the material also very large. So you can observe that here it is shown with the different materials. For example, I am taking the cadmium. If you are observing the for cadmium, that as percentage of solute going to increase, then the change in the resistivity with the origin cadmium is also going to increase. And also here about the cadmium, the change in the cadmium with respect to valence is also going to high as percentage of solute increases. So experiments have shown that the resistivity of the dilute single phase alloys increase with the square of valence difference between the solute and solvent constitutes. In an alloy, the resistivity can be expressed as resistivity is equal to XA into rho A, XB into rho B plus C into XA XB, where rho A and rho B are the resistivities, and XA and XB are fractional atomic compositions of the constituents, and C is the material constants. C is the materials constant. An important commercial product of electrical application is oxygen-free high conductivity copper, which is indicating with OFHC, oxygen-free high conductivity copper. It has the purity of 99.995% of the copper, and OHFC, that is OFHC, that is oxygen-free conductivity, high conductivity copper, is obtained by great efforts to remove the elements like phosphorus and iron. High conductivity and high strength or resistance to elevated the temperature softening is obtained by the alloying with silver or zirconium. A common method for assessing the purity and defect content of pure metals is through the measurement of residual resistivity ratio, which is indicating by RRR, residual resistivity ratio. This ratio is very helpful to assessing the purity and the detect the content of pure metals. It is defined as the ratio of the resistivity at 298 Kelvin to that of liquid helium temperature 4.2 Kelvin. Thus, it can be expressed as residual resistivity ratio is equal to resistivity at 298 Kelvin divided by the resistivity of liquid helium at the temperature 4.2, which is approximately equal to thermal resistivity divided by resistivity due to impurities plus resistivity due to defect. At room temperature, the thermal contribution is much greater than the impurity and defect contribution to the resistivity, so that the latter can be neglected in comparison. At low temperature, however, thermal scattering is reduced to the point where it contributes much less to the resistivity than the impurity and defect scattering. Residual resistivity ratio, that is RRR, may be large value, and it is an important parameter. Let's see the factor affecting the resistivity of conducting materials. Keeping in the view of the last point discussion, we may conclude that in pure metals and dilute alloys, the total resistivity is the sum of two terms. The thermal component, ρT, which arise from the lattice vibration and the residual lattice vibrations, and the second one, resistivity, that is residual resistivity, ρR, which caused by impurities and structural imperfection. The latter is independent of temperature. The total resistivity is given by rho is equals to rho T plus rho R. This equation is also known as Matheson's rule. This rule becomes less accurate at high temperature or high impurity levels. So in this point, we are looking for factor affecting the resistivity of the conducting materials. For that, first factor is temperature. The electrical resistance of most metals increases with the increase of temperature. At temperatures above the so-called Debye temperature, that the thermal component of resistivity of conductor is approximately linear. Debye temperature for copper is 315 Kelvin, while for aluminum it is 398 Kelvin. The resistivity at any temperature T can be expressed as resistivity is approximately equal to rho 0 into bracket 1 plus alpha in bracket T minus TRT plus so on, where rho 0 is the room temperature resistivity, that is room temperature is of TRT. For pure metals, the temperature coefficient of resistivity alpha is about 0.004 per degree Celsius. Many conducting materials have vanishing resistivity near absolute zero temperature. This phenomena is known as superconductivity. Second factor is alloying. Alloys generally have a less regular structure than pure metals. Consequently, the electrical conductivity of a solid solution alloy drops off rapidly with increased alloy content. For an alloy, say copper, the resistivity can be expressed as rho alloy. Resistivity of the alloy is equal to resistivity of the copper plus S into rho I, where this resistivity in micro ohm centimeter, where S is nothing but the atomic percentage of added impurities, and rho I is nothing but increase in resistivity for 1 atomic percent addition of 1 atomic percent addition of impurity. When nickel is added to the copper, then we can define that the resistivity for nickel copper, then it can be written as defined as resistivity of the copper plus S into 1.3 micro ohm centimeter. That is, by the addition of 1% of nickel, the resistivity of copper goes up by 1.3 micro ohm centimeter. The third factor is cold work. Localized strengths produced by mechanical treatment of conductors decrease their conductivity. A hard-drawn copper wire has lower conductivity than annealed copper. And the last factor is aging, that is age hardening. Age hardening increases the resistivity of an alloy. Thank you very much.